Company fucks over long-term employees and my boss's act of revenge helps me start a freelance media company for pennies on the dollar. Originally posted in r. Antiwork, I was told to post it here. For legal reasons, I can't disclose the exact location, purely because the team I worked with were cool guys and our boss fucked over corporate really hard without them noticing. This took place in 2012. Part 1. The Fire Marshal. I worked at a smaller chain electronics store that sold top-of-the-line video cameras, PCs, cell phones, photo cameras, and this new thing called 4K televisions. For context, we were located at an expensive outlet mall. We were literally the only electronics store in the mall, and the only place for 50 miles that sold high-end electronics. Logic dictates that this in itself would make our location prime real estate and we would have record sales every year. Spoiler alert. That's exactly what happened, and we basically killed it 5 years in a row. Furthermore, I got hired because I came into the store looking for some video equipment. The store manager was caught off guard by my advanced technical knowledge of camera technology because I kept asking him specific technical questions on certain models. Note this piece of information is relevant for the end of the story. So with that preamble out of the way, let's get into the heart of the story. While working the camera counter, the mall fire marshal came in and asked to see the store manager. Since I had no customers at that moment, I decided to take him to the back to meet my manager. This verbatim is what I can remember. Me. Hey, the fire marshal here? Manager. Why? Me. Don't know, want me to let him in the office? Manager. Sure, give me a moment. Marshal. Okay. Mall management wanted me to ask when you want me to bring in the construction foreman. Me. What are we building something? Looking at my rather baffled boss. Manager. No, I didn't ask for a construction foreman. Marshal. Well, aren't you aware of the new overpriced clothing store that's going to be built here? At that exact moment, I and the store manager looked at each other, then looked at the fire marshal. Who handed my manager the work order on the brand new, overpriced clothing store that was going to be built at our exact location, thus permanently ending the only high-end electronics store miles around. Part 2. Money Talks. A few days later, the manager held a store meeting with me and the rest of the team. Prior to this meeting, the manager gave me permission to tell the rest of our 12-person team about the incident with the fire marshal. So the manager confronted corporate about what was going on, and after some skillful verbal gymnastics, we got the whole story. Manager. So I called corporate to ask what's happening, and I'll tell you straight. Overpriced clothing store has been trying for 10 years to get a spot at this outlet mall. They went to every store with a buyout offer for the storefront. The CEO of this electronic chain was approached by overpriced clothing store with a massive check in the millions to break our lease and hand over the storefront to them. We weren't supposed to know any of this. Corporate wanted us to be in the dark right up until the last day 2 weeks from today. Yep, everyone was fucking pissed. In fact, we were so angry that all of us did the absolute bare minimum. This included the manager. In 1 week, we tanked our own sales by 70%. Corporate freaked out and sent a hatchet man to talk to the store. This doofus was confused why we weren't giving it a 110% and was surprised we got visibly angry when he informed us that we wouldn't be getting severance pay or a letter of recommendation. My manager very politely told him to leave and that he would take care of the situation himself. Part 3. Oops, my finger slipped. After the hatchet man was banished from our store, the manager took a close look at the management handbook and noticed a little snafu that was written into the book in regards to discretionary discounts. Mainly that the store manager has permission to discount any product in the store up to 90% off. And the offset of the cost will be absorbed at the end of the year discretionary cost analysis. Yes, you read that last sentence correctly, and the wonderful part of the story is that the store was being shut down by the end of February. So another store meeting was held. The manager told us that 2 days before our last day we were having a secret 90% off sale just for the employees and their family. When I heard this, I asked the question everyone was thinking. Me. So let me get this straight, this includes every single item in this store? Manager. Yep, in fact, what you guys can do is pick out everything you want now, and set up a little pile in the back room. Make sure you guys labeled everything and I'll include the premium service warranties for free. Well, I decided to do some shopping. Newfangled 240 Hz 4K TV, 4K camera system, 3x5 hours spare batteries, 5x128 GB SD cards, shotgun XLR microphone, laptop, 2x1 TB external portable drives, a tripod, car tripod, underwater camera housing, an action camera, a large capacity camera bag, and custom shoulder strap camera plate system. But wait, there's more. The manager told me I could have any of the HDMI and mini display port cables that are currently attached to the showroom TV computer displays. On the day of the secret 90% off sale, we all showed up 2 hours early from the back entrance and bought our items. With tax, I paid about $1,153.69 for about $13,000 worth of brand new electronics and in essence, gave me the necessary tools to start my own media business. As one final fuck you to corporate, the manager gave all of us a phone number to a caseworker at the local unemployment office who was sympathetic to our cause. Part 4. I have never seen this man before in my life. Well, flash forward to March 2013, and I'm carefully navigating my freelance media company into a nice stream of steady work. I get an unknown phone call from a law firm representing the electronics company. Apparently, $400,000 worth of electronics were mistakenly sold at a 90% discount, and they wanted to know if I had any information on where I could find my manager. The following conversation is what I can recall to the best of my memory. Me: May I ask why you need to know this information? Law firm: Well, we believed that he woefully misused his discount privileges. Me: Okay, but could you answer a question for me first? Law firm: Sure. Me: Why did your client, the CEO of an electronic chain, take a multi-million-dollar check to break a lease on his own business and not properly inform the store staff of its impending closure? Dead silence. Me: Hello? Law firm: Sorry to bother you, sir. And that was it. The moral of the story: don't fuck over your employees. P.S. Boss, if you reading this, take comfort in the fact that none of us has sold you out, and I hope you're living a wondrous life. Update. Corrections from the editor and clarifications. First, the cameras. I got a Handycam video camera and a NEX5 still camera. I traded them both for Sony FDR-AX100 a couple years later. I was checking my camera storage to see if I still had my old camera, and found my Sony FDR-AX100. Which is a 4K model but wasn't released back in 2012, so sorry for the confusion. The great irony was JVC released JVC GY-HMQ10 a few months later after the store shut down, and I would have killed for that camera. TV correction. Yes, the first generation 4K TV from Sony was $70,000. However, there was models I've seen at the time that sold from $16,000 to $20,000. Just Google first 4K TV prices. Why so expensive? Because manufacturing cost wasn't under control yet. But I apologize, my TV I got was HD, not 4K. It was Sony XBR-HX950. It was this weird mutant hybrid HD TV with motion flow tech that made it go from 240 Hz to 480 Hz. I traded this as for a Sony X series in 2014 and then traded that for a TCL HDR model in 2018. What happened to my boss? Basically, he moved out of state. He was an older gent, I think he was about 60 years old, because he told me how he got into electronics in the late 1980s, early 1990s. Started at CompUSA, then Gateway 2000, Circuit City, Fry's, and finally the store I worked at. So my guess is probably retired now, and honestly I have no clue what his legal situation is. But we all loved him because we were broke as fuck at that time and had no loyalty to corporate. As for my media business, I started shooting videos, a lot of music concerts, weddings, and corporate videos. Then once everyone and the mother got a movie camera on their cell phone, I switched over to video editing and motion graphics. I also do studio photography for various products for small startup companies or local shops. I used the blanket term media business because it's to simplify the weird evolution I went through. The one piece of advice I can give for people who want to start one is to look at what UHD resolutions are going to become standard in the next 5 to 6 years and plan your tech purchases from there. That's it for me. I'm going to leave the original story as is, and not edit anything. I don't want to be accused of making stuff up. One last thing. A while back I did write a story about my very brief adventure at Best Buy. I deleted it because it was poorly written and it was just a diatribe against this really cunty and incompetent manager I had. I decided to bite the bullet and go full-time with my media company. I'm happy at the fact that I don't need to work retail anymore. Again, I like to stress this happened a decade ago, so I apologize if my dates aren't 100% accurate. I'm just trying as best I can to remember everything. But this all took place in 2012.